Welcome to another Exit and Build Land Summit question and answer session. My name is John Bush, and of course, I'm joined by
Ryan Minniti,
the VP of Sales at Live Free Academy. And we have another couple special guests here. If you guys will introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, just to confirm my name, it's Imani Mamalution.
And I'm Richardson, River Richardson, just to be clear.
El Rio. So River and Imani are the guys behind Haven Earth PMA. In fact, they got a huge project they're working on in Tennessee. We're really proud of the progress they're making on that. But they also put a lot of work into organizing the farm tours. So on day 1 and day 5 of the Exit and Build Land Summit, people that are in person have the option of going to these incredible properties and homesteads to really immerse themselves in the whole exit and build thing. So we're gathered here today to provide answers for any of your questions. Folks that are on the fence, we'd love to push you over the fence, get you a ticket. You can join in person for free on the first day and a half of the event, or you can get a virtual immersion pass. You get all sorts of bonuses. We'll talk about that here shortly. And on top of that, ideally, you can join us in person. So this is an open Q&A session. If anybody has any questions, we are monitoring the chat. But what are you excited about for the Land Summit there, Mr. Ryan?
I'm really excited about the new one-day pass that we just released.
Oh,
so
of course, yes.
If you can't make it for the entire weekend, which we've heard from several people, they'd love to be there, but they just can't commit to buying a whole ticket because they won't be able to be there. So the new one-day ticket, you'll be able to pay $127 and join us for the day. You could also choose, if you wanted to do Friday and Sunday, maybe you got plans on Saturday, you also have that option. So you can mix and match, come 2 days out of the 3, whatever you'd like to do, that option is now available to you. So if that was prohibiting you from before, then it's no longer an excuse.
Yeah, we're doing our best to make it as accessible as possible and try to identify what's going on. Why should some people not show up? What's up with their schedule? What can we do to make it as easy peasy as possible? You guys have any updates on the farm tours? How's all that coming along?
I just wanted to say I thought that was a great addition to add in the one-day option because we did have some people asking us about that. So
she likes it.
Yep, I like it. And as far as the farm tours, that's for anybody who is registered for the entire weekend. Maybe we should clarify that, John. If somebody's registering for one day, are they able to maybe do one day of the farm tours? Because that's going to happen Thursday, the May 18th, before the official 3 days in Bastrop, and the following Monday, which is the 22nd. So really like to get this out so that people who are coming in from out of town can plan. We've put out and mapped everything out because Texas is big. And there is some driving, and we're working on, we have a Telegram channel where everybody's communicating, organizing their car shares. So each day includes 2 tours of 2 different farms in a similar region and an awesome farm to table lunch. But if those one-day people can also sign up for that, because the only way you can access the farm immersion tours is by registering in person for the event.
Yeah, and thank you so much for bringing that up. So in the email, we said if you get a one-day pass, you're still eligible to come to the farm tours. So the one-day pass will get you attendance at the event. And if you purchase your one-day pass before this upcoming Sunday at midnight, let me get the date for this Sunday. Before Sunday, the 14th.
The 14th.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, we can't do a bunch of emails on Mother's Day. Maybe so if you want to purchase it before the 14th, you get meals included. So make sure you get this taken care of as soon as possible. If you purchase after the 14th next week, we'll already have given our meal amount at the actual conference to Chef Ray. So you won't be able to get the meals included in your ticket. But if you get a one-day pass
for the Exit and Build in Bastrop, now for anybody registering for the farm tours, you purchase the tours and you purchase the lunches. The lunches are optional. $40 covers the 2 tours. So that goes right to the homesteaders, the farmers. So $20 for each tour, and then the $20 for the farm to table lunch. So $60 for each day if you do both days. So just to make sure
that's right.
Everybody registers, and you don't have to do lunch, but we highly recommend it.
Farm to table meal. So yeah, if you get the one-day pass, you still have to get the farm stuff separately. What? If you get the one-day pass, you still have to get the farm stuff separately. So, but the cutoff for meals for the 3-day conference is going to be this Sunday coming up. So tell us about some of the farms that people can visit.
Can I just say something to that too, just because I know a lot of people like to kind of wait till the last minute. But being someone that has run an organic cafe for a decade where I homeschooled my kids and do food and hospitality, it's really important that we, one, because we are doing local foods that we're harvesting, and we want to make sure that we have enough for everyone, because last year everybody wanted to be at that VIP dinner and the lunches were fabulous. So, I mean, I really give you guys a lot of credit for really committing to this, John, is providing a wholesome local sourced meals. But it's so important that you register for that in advance so that we can give respect to the people that are not only growing the food, but preparing it. It's really important. So if you're on the fence, really make that decision to come so that we can get you in the count and you can experience the full weekend. And for those of you that are doing the farm tour, if you're doing the lunch, there are some options. We've gotten a lot of questions around vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free. All of them are making accommodations, but I do have to say this is Texas, and a lot of them are homesteading and they're growing meat, which is why we're going to these farms to learn how to do this. So, but they're very generous in making a lot of accommodations. So I would definitely encourage people to take advantage of the meal. Another question that I've got for the farm tours is, children are free, but you should pay for their lunch or bring them something if you don't want them to eat lunch. But again, we're providing food. But the tours for children, I think you said under 12. I don't know what it is, but those were free. So you can bring your kids. But if you want them to eat, you should purchase lunch tickets for them. The other thing is, I just got a note from the farmers. It has been raining a lot in Texas. I know we put this in the email. Is just be prepared. Bring a sun hat. It is getting warm in Texas, bring what you need. It's going to be on a farm. There's going to be critters. There's going to be probably mud from all the rain. So you might want to have an extra pair of shoes and proper clothing and attire to be on a ranch and a farm.
This is the way. I just realized I sent an email earlier, but I didn't put the full link. So there's an H missing. So I'm hoping folks will figure out to copy the entire YouTube link. Becca's saying, don't wear high heels.
That's
Definitely
right,
take
Rebecca.
that advice there yourself, Miss Becca. She likes to wear those high heels when we're at a conference and stuff.
Yep.
Looking nice and sharp, but not the
River
most comfortable.
tells me that when we do our land visits, because we do that for people, that I wear my city shoes, and I now have some appropriate land visit shoes myself. But I saw that Rebecca got some shiny boots, and I'm hoping she is wearing those cowgirl boots this weekend.
Oh my goodness,
Dang.
Becca's going to be looking great as usual. Ryan, do you want to share a phone number? Because we can take orders over the phone here at Live Free Academy. Sometimes people are hesitant to do the e-commerce kind of deal, which is totally fine. So we try to provide an opportunity for everybody to go whatever they're most comfortable with. What's the phone number people can reach us?
We actually got a new phone number, and since John's putting me on the spot, I don't remember the new number, but the old number that you could leave a voicemail, and I'll definitely get to you, is 512-661-7251. So if you leave a voicemail over there, I'll definitely listen to it, and I'll call you from that number as soon as I hear it.
We can't receive calls on that number, that old number?
We can receive calls on the old number, but the new number, I don't remember at the moment.
All right,
And
we're running around like chickens with our heads cut off over here.
Speaking about technology, not specifically AI, but technology, because some people are opposed to it and like to call that we are communicating with each other in the Telegram app. And, not everybody wants to get on apps and use that. But if you do want to communicate and coordinate carpooling, if you get lost, or if you have questions during the event, the Telegram channel is where we are going to be communicating. And if you've registered for a farm tour, you will receive that. We're not putting that out publicly because that's only for people who are registered, who are attending Exit and Build. But that's how we're going to be communicating. And a lot of people are going to be meeting up at the Bastrop Convention Center. And I'm really excited because people are already meeting each other and connecting and coordinating that. So it's going to be a great way for you to actually spend time doing an activity hands-on with people, because that's how we really build these deeper relationships and get to know each other. Because this is going to be one of those life-changing events, right, John?
Transformative for sure. Here's the new number, right? 866-4439.
That's the one.
Yeah, if you give us a call, Ryan will answer that phone, and you can ask any questions about the event, and he'd be happy to take a card over the phone and get you all set up. Yeah, I encourage folks, if you've been hesitant about apps and tech, Telegram it's not perfect by any means, but they're definitely less censor crazy as many of the other platforms, and there's a whole lot of freedom-minded people there. So a key part of everything we do, whether it's Live Free Academy, Freedom Cells, Exit and Build, Haven Earth PMA, is building community. Because at the end of the day, we need to get each other's backs. The world's getting crazy. We're trying to build a new, better world, but we're not going to be able to do it alone. And so, like Imani was saying, we do have a lot of groups. In fact, if you register for free, you get invited to the 2,500 person Exit and Build Land Summit community group. That's been around since the very first Land Summit. So there's a lot of people that are all supporting one another, sharing ideas, networking, linking people up with contacts. But on top of that, again, we have these in-person groups. And if you're going to be doing the farm tours, you definitely should join those groups because it'll help a lot with the coordination. There's a whole lot of coordination going on.
And speaking of networking, John, and this is, just for the record, on the schedule and the email, I was Imani Richardson, but I am helping Imani Mamalution to do some of the networking, which is Saturday afternoon. But there's going to be so much networking going on at this event the entire time. So the farm tours are a way to, actually break bread and have experience hands-on. But Friday night, the community garden event, people will have an opportunity. I want to encourage people to bring your flyers, bring your cards, anything that you have. We're going to have a way with the badges so that if you're ready to exit, you can connect with someone that's already building. And we're the Saturday afternoon networking is the part where we're taking a couple hours at the end of the day to really break out into groups and exchange information. So again, back to that technology point, we're going to be collecting your data, emails, and put it in. There'll be options because we try to be open to all the different places where people are, but to get in the Telegram groups or to get on the email list, because that's most of how many of you have found us. And John is through technology, right? And it's one of the ways that we stay connected. And there's so many relationships that have built. Actually, River and I found each other through technology, the conversations that I was hosting. So it's a really powerful tool for using it in a way to accomplish what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we
Excellent.
got right now, right?
What was that there, River Mamalution?
No, I mean,
like that.
yeah, exactly. I mean, if it wasn't for the Exit and Build, for the Greater Reset and all of these events in person, we wouldn't have made the networks. But I think continuing and developing them relationships has really been through the technology. We get the luxury of these events, and it's awesome that you put all this amazing amount of work into it, the team. But, it's up to other people to kind of pick up the ball after that and to make them groups, to follow the Telegram and do all of that. I'm not the best at it, but I definitely see the purpose of it. And it really works for us at Haven Earth to get the message out there, to be on technology and use it, as you say, John, use it while we can to promote what we're doing and to promote freedom and connect each other together at these times. Because if it wasn't for it, we'd all be pretty much still stacking toilet paper in the back of the basement, and not knowing who else is out there. So,
right,
some of us.
That's right. Let us use it and not be used by the technology. I'm going to send out an email to everybody too to fix the link because we hear here in the chat.
I'm still stacking toilet paper, even though I'm in the community.
There he goes. And we know if crap hits the fan, he's in our community. So we're going over to Ryan's.
No crap's hitting the fan in my house.
And if it does, it'll get wiped up because we have the toilet paper. All right, if you guys, let's read this question here. We got Matthew Willis. Hello, got a question. I'm in South Austin and want to move somewhere within 45 minutes of UT. All the 5 acres with a small home are $500,000 or more, and we can only afford around $400,000. How do we exit? You guys want to tackle that while I get this email? Anybody?
Well, I mean, just what comes to me is.
Could you put that back up?
River and I have been doing a lot of land visits and working with a lot of people that are looking to secure land, and we're actually just securing property for the Haven Earth Trade School in Tennessee. And one thing that we've been open to, even though we've had some ideal locations, is having that flexibility and really trusting that the perfect, alignment of the property. I mean, we've talked about this kind of checklist. So it sounds like there's some specifics as far as what you're looking to do, but and we'll be talking about this at the event, and you'll be talking about it specifically in the way we're building on the land. But maybe you could speak more to it as far as some of the things that we're looking at, because there's certain checklists, I think, when you're returning to the land that are really important. And obviously we all have our unique ones.
Well, I think it's just not the time to do it alone, really. and you know, if you're looking to set up and get a piece of land, and just really think about that, because there's a ton of people right now who are not wanting to do it alone, and they're looking for like-minded people to come in on some type of communal living arrangement.
Shared.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there's a lot of trauma around the intentional community models, especially in the freedom community. We're all pretty paranoid and afraid that we have our freedoms taken away and get stuck in some kind of cult. But, you know, really, I think in a pragmatic way, it makes a lot of sense that we come together and use these kind of job boards, use the Telegram channels. There's all kinds of them. There's Tennessee, there's Texas, and I'm sure there's other areas where people are looking to do some kind of land cooperative.
And I know I think Rebecca, right? She's in the chat, but we have somebody presenting from a community in Utah, right, John?
Yeah, Riverbed Ranch. You want to share about them?
Yeah, Riverbed Ranch will be presenting. And honestly, Matthew, there's actually a lot that you could do here. One presenter that we have is Curtis Stone from Canada, and he actually talks a lot about how he found land that everybody thought was really poor land, really poor soil quality, not enough water, not enough gallons per minute to dig a well. And he actually did his own research on the land, surveyed the land, and he's like, the soil's fine. And he has an abundance of plants that he's growing out there. He gets plenty of gallons per minute through his well. So basically what everybody thought was really cheap, kind of, bad land that nobody would really want to fork over a lot of money for, he bought on the cheap and was able to turn it into a thriving homestead because he knew what he was looking for. So I would definitely recommend,
Ryan, is knowing what you're looking for. Right. I've heard so many people are so excited about Curtis coming and look forward to meeting him. I think it's an amazing addition to Exit and Build. But, there's a lot of downfalls too. Like, we're looking at a property that has wells, and we are checking the water pressure on the wells and the, water, because we see a lot of people who do the opposite, who don't do enough research and then have a piece of land that's not really workable. So those are some of the things that I think when we talk about, like, water that you brought up specifically, is a huge resource on the land. And when we're living somewhere like Texas, if you don't understand, and you're moving to Texas, like we all did, we're not the natives, that you have to understand water here is a little different. People are using rain barrels and have to make sure they're not in a flood zone so that the food that they're growing isn't getting destroyed. So you have to do your due diligence and research it. But I think there's so many speakers this weekend coming up at Exit and Build that are going to give people all of the resources and the wisdom that they need to make these intelligent decisions. So it's going to be powerful.
Yeah, and I also think, we tend to look to areas that have some buzz or have something going on, like, I want to be near this town or something like that. But I really feel like this is the time for these kind of a little bit backward agricultural areas, not backward mentally or anything, but just kind of behind the times in some ways, right? They haven't gotten into all the development. They might not have a town center. They have post office type of towns. But these agricultural areas, I think, are going to be really relevant moving forward, because people are going to be gravitating towards agricultural areas that are growing food and out of like the more urban settings. So like, it might seem like a bit far away, but you might want to extend your search beyond the 45 minutes and see what you can get, and just, and then you just change your habits a little bit. If it's an hour to go to the store, you don't go there every day or every other day. You go there once a week. You just get a bit, you get more pragmatic, and you have to sacrifice a little bit on some things and the conveniences, but inevitably it changes your mindset about how you live, and your expectations change a lot. So you actually find happiness a lot easier, and you don't need as many fixes. Whereas when you think, I want to be in Austin, or I want to be here where I can have all of these things, I think that's something that we're going to have to let go of, and that's part of exiting, right?
Well, and also, like, one more point to address Matthew's thing is, if you absolutely have to be within 45 minutes of UT, if it's a family situation, you got a kid at UT, you need to be close by to them. Who knows what the situation is? Yeah, maybe so. So you could also exit and still be in Austin in UT. I mean, look at what we're doing with Tower Gardens. You can grow a garden in your house. So you could still exit the system per se, and you're growing your own food in your house. Or you could link up with some local community members, go to the Freedom Cell website, go to South Austin Freedom Cell or Central Texas Freedom Cell, link up with some community members, purchase maybe a half-acre lot. I mean, there's some half-acre lots for purchase around Austin. And then you guys do a community garden. So there's
bug out spot.
a bug out spot. You guys could pool resources together, do all these things together. You don't need to, go way out into the country to be able to do these things, although it's recommended because being in the, the 15-minute cities and all the surveillance and everything that's coming our way, it's not advantageous, but you still can exit and be outside of the system while still living in the city.
So when I see your comment, one thing that comes to mind for me is a classic line from Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he says, let us not say, I can't afford it. Let's reframe it and say, how can I afford it? So understandably, the difference between a $400,000 and a $500,000 mortgage is substantial, especially when you consider what the interest rates are these days. But if it's something that you want that bad and you want this ideal scenario where you have a 5+ acre place with a decent home. Now, of course, there's places for less than 400 or 500K in Central Texas, but you're not going to get a nice house on that property. There's other ways that you could go about bringing that money into your world. And I understand, of course, folks have full-time jobs, but really at the end of the day, there's time in between working. There's time before or after working to start the old side hustle. Imagine bringing in an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month. That would more than cover the extra amount on the mortgage. It's just what kind of quality of life do you want? What kind of balance do you want? Another thing to consider as well, you could purchase land without the house and get yourself a tiny home or an RV. Or as Ryan was saying, one of the classic moves is to stay in the city, but you go in with other Freedom community members and you purchase raw land, and then you park the RV there, and then you stuff the RV full of prepared food. You go out on the weekends to work on the garden or get things prepared. So there's all sorts of different options. The important thing, I believe, above all else, is to believe in yourself and your ability to build a life of your dreams. So it may be challenging, may have to put in some extra work, some extra time here or there, start the side hustle, find some new people to coalesce with towards this common goal. But if there's a will, there's a way for sure.
Right. And you don't even need to start a side hustle. You could just lean into your current profession. Let's take the professor example. Maybe that's what you're doing at UT. If you are a professor, like what Grant Cardone says is to get more involved with your current job, just like commit fully to your current job. So if you're a professor, maybe you have a PhD and you could travel around and give seminars or summits and do speaking and stuff like that. So that's
tutoring on the side.
There's a bunch of options there. Whatever your current profession is, just lean fully into it and explore other options about how you could monetize your profession.
Excellent. Rebecca saying owner finance as well. We have another comment here. .com cowgirl. I like that moniker there. That's a great little picture you got there. In Austin Metro, looking for anything 1+ acre that has minimal restrictions and large yard that you can privacy fence to start farming and property ladder your way up to more acreage over time.
I've got a great recommendation. You should reach out to our friend Morena Camp. She will definitely find this for you. Unfortunately, we're not realtors, but she is, and she does a lot of stuff in the Central Texas area. So I would definitely recommend reaching out to her. She could definitely help you look for exactly what you're looking for.
I think if you actually look, I think she was trying to answer Matthew's thing. She was making a suggestion about look for 1 acre plus in the city. It wasn't a question. She was
okay.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think
for anybody who's looking, hit up Morena.
Right. It is amazing. I mean, it's interesting because the whole Anastasia community, I don't know if any of you know about that. In Russia, really, it's all about this 1 hectare of land, 1 hectare homesteads, which is about 2.5 acres. That is enough to do and have a family homestead, to grow your food, to have additional buildings for family members and all of that. Maybe the 5 acres is a zoning thing that you're thinking about, Matthew. And, that might be an issue in the area that you're looking. But, do you really need 5 acres? to manage your family homestead. So I think that's a good point from .com.
And the other thing with that is one of the, just a plug for Texas Ready, who will be speaking and offering workshops at the event. We've been learning from them how to do the Mittlighter gardening beds, which is all about growing a maximum amount of food on a smaller lot. So it's like nutrient dense and creating like 3,300 pounds of food for a family of 4 in a very small amount. So we're in the middle.
33. Woo.
Oh, Imani's Illuminati.
I think I have
Illuminati.
Illuminati.
We're living in one of those post-stamp towns that we were talking about, Kingsbury, but we're only 45 minutes from Austin. But we're only got a quarter of an acre on half acre, and we're growing the gardens, and we have our chickens. We're surrounded by a lot of other acres, but it's amazing what you can do in that small area. But I would say also really what's around you for whatever land that you are looking to do before you really invest a lot into it. But there's a lot of food forest stuff that you can do on a small plot of land.
Yep. And we just recently got into this incredible opportunity called Tower Garden. We have one at the house. It's outside. It's a flex model. And then we have one here at the office. It uses aeroponics. It has a very low footprint. So even folks that are in the city, maybe they're getting their cards right, or they're prepping to exit and build, or maybe they want to stay in the city. There's still certain things that you can do in order to become self-reliant in the city. I need to get you signed up for this, Imani. I know you're a network marketing lady.
I had Tower Gardens in my cafe 20 years ago, John.
Oh, nice. Oh, I invented the Tower Garden.
She's an OG.
Yeah. So I'm going to share a link real quick here. Learn more about Tower Gardens. If anybody's interested in that product, we're absolutely in love with it. It's also a good opportunity for a side hustle. So for the folks that are like, we can't make the leap to the $500,000 piece of property, you set yourself up with a solid side hustle. You put some extra time into it, maybe on the weekends instead of watching the football game, or maybe you start waking up early every morning. I remember there's a period when I was completely broke, struggling, and every time I'd put the kids together, I'd stay up and work till 2 or 3 a.m. in order to pull myself out of that rut. So if there's a will, there's a way. Like I said, you can find time to carve stuff out, and we do have a wonderful opportunity there. There's plenty of opportunities as well. Were you going to say something, River?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it kind of talking about food growing and homesteading and just loving the other presenters that you're going to have there, like Mike Reynolds, who's going to be there, and really what he's been doing with the Earthships, really taking that idea that you can actually grow food in your home. You can actually, kind of design your dwellings, or maybe you have like a jalapeno greenhouse, which is kind of similar principles to an Earthship. You're using the ground's temperature to regulate your indoor environment, and then your solar orientation to capture that sun. I think it's really good to have, connect with people like Mike and really understand, because I think we get stuck in this kind of old paradigm way of thinking about it. Oh, what's on the real estate market? You go to all these real estate sites and it's cookie cutter in some ways, and it's like a 3.5 bedroom house. It's on a small lot or whatever. But I think when we start thinking of alternative building materials, obviously we're all into the hemp, and that we can create dwellings that actually can pay back in the end. So we're designing our homes to be more energy efficient. We're growing our food in there, so our bills are cut down in future. So we can actually maybe take on a little bit more as a mortgage or something like that when we're really kind of considering our dwellings as a place rather than just a place to stay.
Yeah, John,
creative.
We're doing in Tennessee. We'll be able to do green roofs as well. So River's working on the designs for the Haven in Tennessee, but he just finished the master plan for habitable spaces, and they don't have great soil over here. They're on the other side of Kingsbury, and they've put in a couple of the jalapenos, which is those ones that are in the ground. So there's finding creative solutions and this is what we're forced to do when we return to the land, right? Be problems.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys were into hemp. I learned something new every day.
Surprise, surprise.
They're drinking hemp milk right now.
Yeah. All decked out in hemp. Imani, can you share a little bit about one of our speakers that I'm really excited to be that we're bringing to the table, bringing to the conference? This is somebody that you connected us with, and it's none other than Mike Colomb. What's this PMA thing all about, and why are you guys so passionate about it?
We've been talking about PMAs for since River and I started Haven Earth and set it up as a private membership association. So Mike has been, someone that has guided us along the way, and actually did first live with him a couple of years ago when everything started deconstructing. And it's not a new model, but it's a way of returning and bringing everything into the realm of the private versus the public. He was, when things were shutting down, him and his wife ran the Renegade Ranch, and they were out kind of near
near Nevada City.
Nevada City, where they were staying open, and as a PMA, to be able to have people access food and things during that time. So there's going to be a lot. I mean, we've reached out. I have more people reach out to us about PMAs probably than anything else other than hemp building. But that, along with Ron Gibson coming and talking about the land patents for people that are looking to move to these new, what for us are new structures, but our existing structures that have been used really since the beginning of time, of the ideas of the trust, the PMAs and the land patents are going to be really important as we build out these new parallel, societies, these new structures.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, these kind of pioneers, right? Because we're kind of just figuring it all out in a way, and it can seem quite messy, and then people will get suspicious. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about this, but I think that's what it's going to be like right now, is like all of this, the homesteading, getting back to land, creating community, all of it. There's not going to be some perfect rollout of a whole new system that people can jump into. You're going to have to take a risk. And I think it's really interesting, because the more risk that it seems in the, normal world, let's say conventional reality, the more that gets risky, the more people are willing to take a risk, because it's less comfortable in that space. And I think people like Mike, they take a lot of slack actually for putting their necks out there and trying to create a pathway for people to get out of the system, to create new pathways to, defend the land, defend our rights, and defend our right to be able to grow on food and have our own medicines and all this kind of stuff. So we love Mike a lot. He's a gem, and looking forward to what he's got to share.
Excellent.
John,
Yeah. Go ahead. No,
well,
you go.
If people were, thanks. People want to know more, I'll be presenting on this more about the educational model that we're rolling out. But one of the things that does distinguish us and differentiate us from others is this private, really our commitment to set up in the private realm. And you and Rebecca have been supporting and been involved with us, because there's different models that people are looking at as they bring people back to the land together. And there's a lot to work out. But we've been working tirelessly at it, and really coming to that point where we will have a debt-free property that will be in a land trust and an irrevocable common law trust that Mike is setting up with us, and with our guidance. But it's really about learning about our sovereignty as part of the process. It's not just looking for quick fixes and somebody to give you a piece of paper. You really have to do that education and that relearning, or that re-educating of yourself about all of these sovereign principles. So if I just sent you, if people who aren't attending or still on the fence about attending want to learn a little bit more about what we're doing, I put the link in our Telegram chat if you want to put it up there, just to find out more, because it's the model of being within the realm of the private and combining the education piece and the economic around a trade school, where we are going to open up for residential membership, because that we are a membership, and that's a really important part of what we're doing.
I love it. If folks are just joining us, you are hearing from myself, John Bush, and we got Ryan Minniti here. We got River and Imani of Haven Earth PMA. We are answering questions and just sharing a little bit about the Exit and Build Land Summit, which is coming up May 18th through the 22nd. You can register to watch the first day and a half of the conference absolutely for free over at exitandbuildlandsummit.com. Or better yet, you can get a virtual immersion pass, which will give you the ability to watch all 3 days of the conference. You can ask questions via Zoom. You'll get the replays and all sorts of incredible bonuses. There are still tickets to join us in person. I hope you'll consider doing that if you're in the Central Texas area, if you can drive or hop on a last-minute plane trip. You definitely will not be disappointed. It's going to be an incredible event. And we just did add 1-day passes or 2-day passes. So if you can't come all 3 days or all 5 days, there's farm tours on day 1 and day 5. you can get a better rate for the participation in the event. And somebody had asked, they said that they didn't get the email announcing that. You can just go to exitandbuildlandsummit.com. And once you register on the second page, you'll see all the different choices to participate. So I hope folks will do that. I'll grab that link there. And then we had another question here.
Yeah, I can answer that. Texas Ready, Lucinda and Kurt will be there. They're definitely knowledgeable about all things food preservation. So they'll actually
They're doing a workshop on that.
They're doing a workshop on that, and they do freeze canning. I mean, they obviously won't be doing demos at the event, but they will be going over food preservation, and they'll have everything that you need. That if you want to take home, I bought one of those huge freeze dryers from the big ones. But they have all of that in their seed banks, their heirloom seed banks. So if you haven't checked them out, they're texasready.net, but they'll definitely be doing the food preservation piece. And yep, John just put up our link for the Haven Village in Tennessee. You know, John, we're obviously opening up to residential members, and we have a ton of interest already. I don't know even what it's going to look like after Exit and Build. And we're doing our first land visit there with our members in June. But we're also putting a call for people that have skills, you know, master builders, artisans, cabinet makers. We just had a stonemason. So we have an application for people who have that skill set that are interested in sharing and being part of a faculty or part of a build team as we return to the land. Because our model is really that we're building our own hemp houses, right? Our healthy hemp homes, which River will be talking about on Saturday. So if anybody's interested to check it out, on there is just for the residential, but reach out to us at, you know, info@havenearth.biz if you're someone that has those skill sets and you're ready to return to the land and share in that kind of shared model. It's 216 acres in East Tennessee.
Awesome. Yeah, and I've seen the pictures. They look absolutely amazing. The land is beautiful, sprawling hills and forests, but there's also cleared space for building. And you guys definitely did a good job picking that stuff. Let me see. We got another question from Mr. Ron here, aka MLM Mastery Club. I checked the CART, which is this Capital Area Regional Transportation, rides from Austin Airport to Bastrop, and the last departure is after we arrive in Austin. Any other recommendations to get to Bastrop? Well, you know, if you don't mind shelling out, of course, Uber will take you from Bastrop all the way, from Austin all the way to downtown Bastrop. But on top of that, I know that you're in the group. So we're creating these carpooling groups. We just narrowed it down to one. There were 2 carpooling groups. Now we're doing the Exit and Build Land Summit 3 carpooling group. I'll delete the other one. But I would just continue to press in there. There's a lot of people from Austin that are coming to the event. And then there's also people from all over. We have somebody that's looking for a ride from Arizona that's coming as well. So just push out in the community. And the more that you put it out there, the more likely you'll be able to get that resolved. And then again, worst case scenario, you may be looking at a $30, $35 Uber ride. Just consider budgeting for that. I do want to share, folks, we're very family friendly. So at all these big events that we do everything we can to make them as accessible as possible for folks that have kids, retired, young people, high income, low income. So we organized a little kid village kind of deal. And there's actually going to be an organization that has done this type of thing. In fact, it's what they do at events. So there's going to be art there. It's called Family Love Village. There'll be art, there'll be activities, there'll be games. So you can bring your kiddos, and that's included in your ticket. I will say, though, if you want the kiddos to eat the farm to table catered meals, they will need to have a ticket. But beyond that, the kids can come play. There'll be some food on site that we're selling, but there's restaurants and food options within a little bit of a walking distance or hop in a car with somebody. So if you're not able to get the ticket for them to get the full meals, then there's plenty of options in the area. So definitely bring the kiddos. We're all about getting the next generation to be raised in a way so they understand their freedom. They know how to do practical, important things instead of just, you know, regurgitating historical facts.
I love that you guys are kid friendly, John, and that, you know, your kids are there and it's part of the experience. So that's really sweet. And just as far as a shout out for location, I love the Bastrop location too for this event. There are a ton of restaurants in the area, and it's not that difficult to get around because sometimes you go to these events and it's really hard to navigate. It's honestly, for Texas, it's not that far from the airport. You're probably one of the closer places.
Yeah.
So it's and there are 2 Telegram channels, one for carpools and then one for everything farm tours, which the people carpooling on that is are in that one. But there's plenty of connections. And if you have to Uber one way, I'm sure that on the way back, you're going to find someone to share a ride with, because that's really how this community, one of the ways everybody comes together.
Yeah, I mean, just talking about that, all the speakers who are there are amazing, but I think one of the great networking and connections you make in person there, that just is being, people in our community, we met them at Exit and Build last year, or the Greater Reset. It's really, it's a community of like-minded people, and it's really an activation, I find, for a lot of people. They realize, like, wow, I found my tribe. So there's kind of nothing like being there in person. Even if you can only make it for a day, it's really worth it.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's probably the most valuable part, building those connections. So I want to do something here for a sec while I have the vice president of sales here sitting next to me. Let's do a little role play. So maybe there's people watching, they're on the fence, but they have some objections. All right, so let's talk through this, and maybe in Ryan overcoming some of these objections, some reasons not to go, it might resonate with you, and maybe you'll decide to go. So, Ryan, I really want to come to this event, but I got to tell you, the budget's really tight. We've been struggling lately, inflation and everything. I just don't know that I can afford it.
John, I absolutely hear you. I think that, that the economy is really tight for a lot of people. Inflation is going crazy. Who knows how crazy it's going to get. I just really think that this event is going to be invaluable. It's going to give you the kick in the butt that you need to take the next step in your life and your homesteading journey. And, just your exiting journey in general. You really can't put a price on that. Although, ticket prices did just get increased, I still think it's an exceptional value. We're going to deliver so much more value to you than you paid for. And I can absolutely guarantee that to you.
I'd really love to go to the event, but I just sometimes am uncomfortable around people in large crowds. At home, I'm just a homebody. I stay at home. I like to communicate with people online, but even then I feel a little anxious. I don't know that I'd feel comfortable being around a bunch of people I don't know.
You know what, John? I definitely hear that. And, me, myself, sometimes I like to spend some time alone, take a Brave Botanicals Delta 8 gummy and just watch Lord of the Rings. But a little plug for Brave Botanicals. But, I definitely hear you, John. I'm the same way sometimes. But what I can tell you is that this community is not a community that you have to be ashamed about your beliefs. Maybe you've had some questions about the pandemic over the last couple of years that your family may have outcasted you for. This is not that group. You can be yourself. You can be open. You can share with this group, and they're going to accept you for who you are. We're not judgmental. And, most of everyone, I can't guarantee everybody's going to be a saint, but everybody is really a pleasure to talk to. I was talking earlier with a woman, and she was saying, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know the community. This would be a first time ever coming to something like this. And I was like, hey, leading up to the Greater Reset, I was so stressed. I was so overwhelmed. I was like, man, I never want to do this again. And then after the event, I was like, I can't wait for the next Greater Reset. I was just chatting with a bunch of attendees, fraternizing with some of the speakers and sponsors. It was the
Found
coolest
his
thing
girlfriend.
Ever. Found my girlfriend. Shout out Elizabeth. But yeah, it really is an incredible experience. You're going to meet a bunch of people like River and Imani have been talking about. You're going to make, who knows, maybe a lifelong connection. Maybe in my case, I did. So, but you're really going to make some connections, and people aren't going to judge you. If you're more of a homebody, I definitely urge you to come to this event. You're going to make some really incredible connections.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you heard enough information to make a decision? One more. Honestly, Ryan, I already have a homestead. We have 5 acres. We're well outside of the city. We took the advice at the first Exit and Build Land Summit. We were there in person. We went and bought the land, and I just got a lot of work to do on the property. I'm not sure I need to go to an event like this.
Well, what I can tell you, John, I absolutely agree with you. I think, that's a very valid point. I mean, you already exited, right? You bought the property. Well, what I think we can offer you at this event is that there's going to be a lot of people showing you what you can do with this property. We have a woman coming to show you her glamping retreat that she's made on her property. How are you using your land right now to make money? Are you doing that currently?
I'm not. No.
Well,
I'm spending money on the land.
Right. So what we need to do for you is get you some income generating sources on your property right now. So if you come to this event, I can guarantee through workshops, through talks, people are going to be telling you the information that you need to turn your land into a money sink, into a money generator. And that's something that will be provided for you through this event.
Well, I tell you what, Ryan, I'm going to head over to exitandbuildlandsummit.com today and buy my tickets.
A VIP ticket?
A VIP. Why don't you share about the VIP ticket there?
Yeah, so the VIP ticket is really special. What we do for our VIPs, we're going to put you in the front row at a front row table. You're going to be right next to the stage, really get that immersive experience from all of the talks and workshops. And then you're also going to be able to go into the green room, the same green room as the speakers. There's going to be premium snacks and drinks that you're going to be able to take advantage of that won't be offered in, the regular lobby, the main hall. So you're going to be able to fraternize with the speakers. You're going to be able to snack on some higher quality snacks. And then also we're doing an exclusive VIP dinner at the Bush Residence, which is a really special occasion. And at the Greater Reset that I just mentioned, we absolutely had a fantastic time. People didn't want to leave. John had to start kicking people in the behind to make sure they left at a decent hour.
To bust out the shotgun.
Maybe not that far, but we had an amazing time. It really is a special value. You may look at the price because the price is $897. You may be like, whoa, what kind of value am I going to get from that? Well, we had people come to our VIP dinner. They networked with some of our speakers, and then they actually landed some deals, doing consultations for those speakers. Because, if you've got something going on, you could fraternize with the speakers or sponsors, maybe make a little networking deal with them. And who knows, you could end up making money out of the deal. It is what you make it. So there's a ton of value behind the VIP, even though it's a little bit higher of a ticket. I still see a ton of value there. Awesome. If you play your cards right.
There you go. Mr. Ron's asking, will there be a VIP shuttle? We may have a shuttle for the VIP, a 16-passenger van. If not, there'll be people that are taking folks from the conference center over to our place, which is like 15 minutes away.
I'll throw you in the bed of my truck, Ron.
There you go. Imani, do you want to share a bit about what you've put together for the farm tours? Because I think that's really, really special part of this event.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also helping with the farm to table VIP dinner, which I highly recommend. Like Ryan said, that what you guys pulled off at the Greater Reset was just an incredible teaser. We had that amazing, and I'm so excited that you've got our local, and they're right not far from us here in Kingsbury, but the meat folks bringing in their magic, and then we're bringing in all the local sides from the vegetables from the farms that we're doing the tours. So there's 4 different tour options, and they are a 1-hour loop, a 2-hour loop, a 3-hour loop, and a 4-hour loop. And that means the time that would take you to drive there and to the other second homestead and back, so that people can really map out what's going to make sense with them, especially if they're traveling. So the first closest tour is going to be what we're calling LaGrange tour, and that's over at Plum Fabulous, and then back towards you in Bastrop at Freedom Farm. And Plum Fabulous is doing a fabulous lunch with her veggies. Second one is where we are in Kingsbury. We mentioned that with our friends at Habitable Spaces. And each tour has a 1-hour farm tour. So we encourage you to get there on time, and then a 1-hour workshop. And then the first site locations will be doing the lunch, which will be featuring their things. So for example, at Habitable Spaces, you'll be learning about food preservation hands-on. They have goats, and they'll be doing cheese making. And then she'll be featuring one of her cheese platters and some of their other amazing foods. We go to their full moon farm to table dinner every month. So amazing opportunity there. And then followed by that, you'll go over to Swift River Pecans, where you'll learn about pecans. And Troy's one of the speakers, but from an orchard perspective. And I really encourage, if you're looking at food production, to consider that as part of your equation. And then also regenerative agriculture and bat rehabilitation, or like bringing that into your model, and beehives. James from the Hive Mind will be talking about horizontal beekeeping. Third tour option is a little up north, and that's Amber Oaks Farm. And Rita, our friends over there at Quinta La Boa. And so that will be the first location. So that one's going to be about a 3-hour loop. And then the last one, Wimberley, that's going to be Dirt Candy Farm. They're going to be talking about growing sprouts. Amber Oaks is going to cover a lot of meat production. So if you're interested in meat production on homesteads, you want to do that third tour, because both farms have animals, and they'll talk about that. The Wimberley will be at Dirt Candy, followed by Mama's, which she's got a sample of the Mittlighter garden. So if you're taking those workshops with Lucinda at Texas Ready and you want to see what one looks like, be great to hop over to that one. It is a longer drive, but you could do, I would highly recommend my favorite restaurant in one of them, and Wimberley is the Leading Pear. You could do that, hit that up on Thursday if you came into town and did that one. Unfortunately, they're closed on Mondays, but the Monday following, and I don't even know if you know this, John, but we are going to be doing an after party at Ali Zex, who's the Freedom Farm to Freedom, and they're one of the sponsors for the event.
Sponsor, yeah.
Yep, we're going to have an after party over there after the farm tour. So for anybody that's still in town, you'll be invited, and I'll be putting that up in the Telegram Farm Tour group next week, all the details for that. So it's pretty packed. There's going to be a lot of information that you're going to look hands-on with the tour, with the actual workshop. Because last year was great, and it was the first year you guys did it, but it was like people were asking for more like a workshop, like a hands-on workshop. And I know we have Sunday all-day workshops, but there's nothing like learning like on the farm or at the homestead, right? Like where you're actually seeing it, and it's really a great way to learn.
Excellent. Yep, it's going to be one hell of an experience, folks. I highly encourage you to join us in person, most definitely, if you can. We're going to be ending the stream here shortly. If anybody has any last-minute questions, you can ask them there in the chat, streaming here on Facebook or Odyssey or whatever. The VIP tickets are selling out pretty quick. I need to update the landing page. We've been manually updating them, but I'd say there's probably less than 20 or so.
Less than 25.
Definitely less than 20. I think less than 20 if you count that the speakers are going to be sitting in there too. So you'll be able to schmooze with the speakers. You'll be able to, like Ryan was saying, go backstage. It's always a cool experience backstage with people hanging out, because there's this awesome conversations going on with the other VIP attendees and the speakers. And of course, we really do everything we can to go above and beyond when it comes to that VIP dinner. It's always a hit every year, and this year will be no exception. All right, folks. So again, the website is exitandbuildlandsummit.com. That's exitandbuildlandsummit.com. We highly encourage you to check it out. Again, there's 3 ways to attend. You can sign up for free, exitandbuildlandsummit.com, watch the first day and a half of the event, get invited to the exclusive Exit and Build Land Summit community group. We actually throw in 3 bonuses that you get too. I know you always got to like over deliver even for free things, but you get a couple of reports. One of them is on the top 8 locations to have your homestead. Tennessee's one of them. Central Texas is number 1, I should say, though.
Dang.
And then on top of that, there's top 8 different ways to build a home, top home models for doing the exit and build thing. And then we have a really cool ebook that we got from Josh Del Sol that's all about exiting the matrix. Really solid work there. So you sign up for free, you get all these incredible bonuses for free, or you can get a virtual immersion pass. You get to watch all 3 days. You get to watch from a Zoom room. We'll have you pulled up. The Zoom participants will be pulled up on a big giant screen. Maybe if I can convince Brad to take this one down again behind us, the big quad screen. It's always a royal pain in the butt. But anyway, we'll have the Zoom participants on a screen. And then whenever there's question and answer, we take turns between the in-person and the virtual, and we'll actually pull you up full screen on the screens that we have there. And you'll be able to engage with the speakers. Not to mention the chat is always fire on these Zoom meetings that we host. And then finally, there are still tickets to join us in person. There's going to be 400 plus people at the Bastrop Convention Center, all like-minded freedom lovers that are looking to work with you on executing their exit and build goals. So we strongly encourage you to join us in person if you can. Exeter Pass, that's the regular pass, general admission, or a VIP pass. You get all those perks that Ryan was talking about earlier. And of course, the in-person tickets make you eligible to go on these awesome farm tours where you can see real working homesteads, real off-the-grid situations, real communities, real farms, and you'll definitely leave feeling absolutely inspired. We're going to kickstart your exit and build dreams 10x all the way. Cool, cool, cool. All right, well,
reminding you that you have a live in 15 minutes, John, and good to see you, Richard. I'm glad that it's me that you're going to be part of the event too.
oh, Mr. Richard Grove. Richard's been all over my YouTube channel lately.
Imani and River. Ryan's there, River's here, but okay, same idea. You guys everybody's getting my name.
Ryan Richardson.
My name's putting me in all kinds of different combinations. It's really great.
All righty. Cool. Hey, well, we really appreciate everybody that tuned in. We appreciate your attention. Thank you, River and Imani, for everything that you do. We're looking forward to hearing you guys. You guys are speakers, of course, as well. Want to hear more about your Tennessee project. And until next time, guys, thanks, Mr. Ryan. Thanks, everybody. Exit and build landsummit.com. Peace and freedom. We'll see you at the Land Summit. Bye.
So exciting.